Oh, so good. It's so good, you guys. I mean, are you kidding me? Glowing goddess. Glowing. Hi you guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video because we are doing a glowy, a bronzy makeup look. You guys voted for this when I was asking what you wanted to see next. I'm also going to be doing a bunch of the other looks that I asked about, like a makeup look with less than 6 products or 5 products, whatever it is, products that are less than $25 or $20, whatever. So we're going to be doing more fun makeup looks, but I was really excited to do this because I love a glowy makeup look. And this is actually the look I created. It's super bronzy, it's super glowy, and it isn't super over the top, and it doesn't look very heavy at all. It's just, I mean, I love it. I feel like it is just so cute. Let me know what you think. Tell me. I want to know. I really like this look. So, I just kind of want to jump into the video so that you can see how I created this look. I really enjoyed filming it. I would love to know down below, actually. I'll do another poll, I think, maybe even today, tomorrow, this week, at some point, ask you what else you want to see, if there's certain reviews that you want to see, or dupes that you want. I'm working on a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless filter, and I have a bunch of great products that I think are actually really good dupes, but I want to know what else you want to see, so let me know down below. And I just kind of want to jump into this glowy bronzy makeup look using clean beauty products. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this glowy bronzy makeup look using clean beauty products. All right, you guys, let's get into it. I'm excited. So face has been prepped. I have a little bit of face cream, a little bit of hyperpigmentation serum. I also have under eye cream and a sunscreen. I'm going to talk about that. I'm really enjoying right now. I have a whole skincare video, so if you want to see that, check that out, especially if you want to see how I like kind of work through my hyperpigmentation. I'm probably going to do a little bit of an updated video where I kind of talk about stuff that's less focused on hyperpigmentation, although like your girl always has hyperpigmentation, so that's always my focus, but just in case you don't have that, I have more skincare products that I use. But anyways, I digress. Let's get into the video. So the sunscreen that I'm using is from the brand K Skin. You know what I hate when logos and stuff rub off, because then like the name of the company is never on it. There used to be like a whole thing right here, but this is from the brand K Skin. This is their Isle Glow face lotion, and this is in this and this is an SPF of 45, which I love, especially if you're using like retinols and stuff like that, girl. 45, like 40, 45 is kind of my go-to sweet spot. Okay, so let's move on to the rest of the makeup now. So I have been loving these. These are the Versed, what are they called? The Moonlighting Glow Drops, and I've really been liking these. So you can use these on their own. You can mix them with foundation, a skin tint, or like a face cream, whatever you want. I really enjoy these. I have both shades, so I'm gonna kind of show you the shade. So this is the darkest of the two. It's the tan shade, and then there's a lighter shade, and I actually really like both of these. And I find, ooh, I'm dropping everything, and I find that they're just like really pretty. So this is what they look like. So there's the darker shade here, and then the lighter shade here, and they're great. So I'm gonna do a little mixies of these. So I'm gonna do a little bit more of the dark, and then I'm gonna apply it with my fingers to my face. Okay, so this you can see it's on now. I feel like it gives me a nice healthy glow. I like that I use a little bit more of the bronze. It really depends on your complexion, how much of the bronze you want to use, of the, not bronze, what's the shade name? Oh, bronzed. It is called bronze, and then there's golden. So I use more of the bronze. So I use probably 3 drops of the bronze, 2 drops of the golden, and kind of mix them together. And I really like the bronze that it gives me. I don't think that the bronze color is super orange or anything like that. I feel like it looks really healthy and really pretty. Okay, so the next I'm going to take a touch, very small amount of the Tower 28 tinted sunscreen, and I'm going to use a mix of the 2 shades I have. So I have the shade 45 Silver Lake and the shade 40 Runyon, and I'm going to do a little mix these. I'm going to do a little bit more 45 Silver Lake, and I'm going to very small amount apply to my face. All right, I'm just going around with this brush. This is the Heavenly Luxe number 7, one of my favorite brushes for complexion. And I'm just going to make sure that everything is really like melted into the skin and blended down without being too much. So I'm really happy with how that looks. I feel like it looks really pretty. Now this is a super glowy makeup look, so you don't have to go with all glowy products because it is going to dew up throughout the day. You have to remember that. So using a little bit of powder here and there, which we are going to do, is important. But first, before we do that, we are going to go on with some concealer. So I have two concealers here that I'm considering. I have the Say Beauty concealer. I have two shades. Really like this for like a really lightweight, simple makeup look. And this, I have two shades. I have the shade 3 and the shade 4, and then I also have the Ilia concealers, and I have two shades in this, the shade Shy, and then I have a lighter shade Kava or Wasabi, and I really enjoy these have great coverage. I think I'm going to go on with the, dropping that a lot, I'm going to go on with the Say Beauty concealer, and I'm going to go on with the shade 4 first, which is the darker of the two, and just kind of dab. Now I think this concealer, it is important in every way of what I mean to let it sit 4 seconds. We are going to let it sit. I'm going to let it dry, and then we are going to blend it out together. I'm also going to go on with a little bit of the shade 3, not as much, just more towards the front here. As you can see, it's kind of layered, and then a touch right here. But I don't want it to be too much. I mean, that kind of looks a little bit crazy, but we're going to let it dry down a bit, and then we are going to blend it out. And with this one, it's really important, in my opinion, to blend out with a brush. I just feel like fingers are not the move. And then you can also actually do a sponge. I just prefer a brush, and then if I need to go on with a sponge later, I'll do that. So we're gonna let this dry down for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna be back blending it out. All right, you guys, I've let that dry enough. So I'm gonna go in with this. This is the Amicole concealer brush, and I'm gonna blend it out. And I really like this for blending out concealer. And I really like, I mean, this concealer is definitely more light coverage for sure, but I really like if you let it sit. It gives you a little bit more coverage, and it blends out like a dream. Just look how pretty that is. Love that. So I'm going to continue on this side. With this concealer, I do like to get up close and just make sure like the corners are kind of blended really nice, and then take my finger and I'm just going to blend the edge out on both sides now that it's all kind of blended. So that looks really good. I'm happy with how that is looking. It does have a little bit more of a sheen to it than maybe the Ilia one, which I don't think has as much of a sheen. But what I love about this is that because it's more light coverage, the kind of sheen that it gives your under eyes, which I know isn't for everyone, really makes you look just super awake and very pretty. And if you have really dry under eyes, or you notice that concealers tend to like crease or bunch or whatever, this is definitely worth checking out. I've also worn it without eye cream. I generally like to wear eye cream, but I've worn it without eye cream and it's looked great. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to do a little bit of powder, not a lot. We're going to powder more at the end, but I'm going to take the Amicole translucent setting powder. I'm going to take a very small amount. I really like this powder. It's like, I never thought I'd like a more mattifying powder, but I was wrong. I like it. I'm going to take this brush here and I'm just going to pat it kind of around my T-zone and just kind of get, not the shine down because I don't want that, but just kind of tone it down a bit. I guess that's what I am doing. I'm going to tone it down a bit, but not too much. You see how that kind of lightly does it? But I'm applying so little on this brush that it really is just to kind of tone down the T-zone area a bit without being over the top, but I still want the glow to come through. So that is all dependent on how much you apply. Got to get the mustache area, okay? And nothing's worse than like a sweaty upper lip or a sweaty looking upper lip. So we're done with that. I'm really happy with how that's looking. I feel like the skin looks beautiful. It looks glowy. It definitely looks bronzed up. And now we're going to move on to bronzer. So I have actually been grabbing the Kosas bronzer a ton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the Kosas bronzer and a little bit of the Ilia bronzer in Novelty. I'm going to mix a little bit of them together because I like the coverage of them. It's like a good combo of bronzing. Just look how pretty that is. It like gives a bronze without being too much. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit of Kosas now and I'm going to kind of layer it on top, but more towards the back. I'm going to take a little bit of the bronzer again, just across my nose a bit, just to give like that, oh, I was at the beach my nose is a little bronzed up look. So that is bronzer done. Now, it kind of mattified my cheeks ever so slightly, which I like because it is going to get dewy, you guys, because we're just getting more and more dew. Love it. So next we're going to go on with blush. No, you know what? Next I'm going to move on to my eyes. I'm going to do final cheek stuff after that. So let's move on to the eyes next. Now, for a bronzy look, I don't like a lot of sheen on my eyes. Some people do. You can do that too. And I'll kind of tell you where you can add a little bit more shimmer or if that's what you like. But I'm going to go actually today with a little bit more of a matte eye look, which I have been really liking. And I'm going to go on with the primer first. So this is the PYT primer. I really, really like this. I love PYT, you guys. They're just so affordable and their products are just it. Okay, so that is lid primed. I'm going to set it with powder in a second, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the eyeshadow. Really, really simple eyeshadow look. I'm not into like heavy eyeshadow right now. It's just not the vibe. So I'm going to take a little bit, again, of the Ami Color powder. I'm going to set my lid with it, and I'm going to take a little brush like this. This is the, what is this, Morphe A14 brush. That is my lid set, and I'm happy with how that's looking. Feeling right, feeling tight. So we're going to go on with some eyeshadow. I'm going to go on first with the Persona, no one's shocked by this, the Persona Cosmetics Identity 2 palette, and I'm actually going to dip into this shade here, which is the shade Loyal. Love that shade, like truly obsessed with it. I'm going to go on with this brush here. It's like just a fluffy little crease brush, and I'm going to add it to my crease. Okay, so that's that done. I kind of brought it a little bit lower down on the lid as well to add a little bit more definition, but I'm really happy with how that's looking. So then next, I'm actually going to take another brush and I'm going to drag that shade Loyal down my on my lower lash line. I wonder if you can hear my dog. And I feel like that just alone, the definition that that kind of gives is really good. I love bringing, you can even just do the bronzer you did, but I really like these eyeshadows and the mattes. I mean, they're all amazing, but the mattes are just so good. Okay, so then next I'm going to dip into this palette. This is the Identity palette from Persona. I'm going to dip into these two shades here, the shade Charming and the shade Maverick, and I'm going to take a little bit of each. And not too much. Definitely hit hit the brush off a little bit and then drag a little bit more of that just on the outer. Okay, so I'm really happy with how that's looking. If I want to add a little bit more, I will, but I'm happy with that for now. So that is looking good. Now I'm going to go on with a touch of eyeliner. Sometimes I'll wing it out, sometimes I won't. It kind of depends on my mood today. I don't think I want to wing it out. So I'm going to take, this eyeliner here. I haven't used this in a while on camera. This is the Persona Cosmetics eyeliner. This is so good, and I have the shade Brown. I've been loving brown eyeliners. I love a black eyeliner too, but like a brown one in summer is just great. And what I'm going to do is take the outer half of my eye and kind of create a line that is really close to the lash line at first and then gets a little bit wider so that it kind of makes my lash line look a lot thicker. Okay, so next we're gonna go on with blush, and I think the blush I'm gonna go on with is this. This is the Victoria Beckham blush in the shade Playground, which I love, and this is just gorge. And even with a really bronzy makeup look, I still like my cheeks to have like that flushed look. I don't want it to be just bronze. Sometimes I will do just bronze, but for this look specifically, I'm loving something a little bit more like pinched cheek. I was out in the sun summer style as opposed to just super, super, super bronzy, no blush, which is also gorgeous, and I love that. So I'm going to take my Sephora Pro 93, is this 93? Yeah, 93 brush, and I'm going to just take it and go over the top and just kind of like higher up like that, and then bring it forward, but not too far forward. But I'm not going to pull it onto my nose. I know that's like a huge trend right now. I love it sometimes, but not always. So that is that. Now you can set this with some powder blush. And a good powder blush I actually really like to set it with is these ones right now. So these are, these ones, English is hard for me right now. So I've really been enjoying setting my blush with these. So these are the Gen Nude Bronzer Blush Bronzer Duo from Bare Minerals. These are great. I have two shades. Kiss of Copper is probably the one I would use today. But Kiss of Pink is also beautiful. I also have been loving the Jason Wu Sex palette, and specifically this shade here is just gorge. So I think I'm gonna actually take a touch of that, like such a small amount, because this is like such a pigmented palette. And I'm gonna touch. Oh, it already feels like it's too much. Like, look how much I touched, and there's so much is on this brush. This palette specifically, of all the palettes that I have from Jason Wu, is a little bit less packed in the pan, so you just have to be careful. Brush it off on your hand, the back of your hand, and then just apply it slightly. And I feel like, again, touched too much, so then I take it off on the back of my hand, and then you can see how much is left, and then just apply it. And this adds a nice glow because it has a little bit of a sheen. This palette is great because all of these have some sheen to it, and I think there's like a shade for everybody in here. And I mean, I'm obsessed with the shade. The shade is also gorge, but if you're a really big fan of like the Charlotte Tilbury like style blush, then you'll probably really enjoy these palettes. You also have to remember blush tends to fade, so the more you apply now, it'll fade, right? So if it's a little intense, that's okay because it's going to fade pretty quickly throughout the day. So that, I'm loving that. I feel like I'm a beachy, glowing goddess. Next, we're going to go on with highlighters. So I have two highlighters here. I have the LYS Beauty Liquid Highlighter, which I love. This is the shade Brave, gorgeous. And then we also have the Minori Highlighter. So I actually think I'm going to do a little bit of both because again, this is a glowy makeup look. So I'm going to take a little bit of the Minori Highlighter. This is the shade Champagne. I love it. And I'm going to just hit the tops of my cheekbones and then bring it all the way around like that. And this is just great for when like, just, I don't know, it just gives like the most beautiful natural flush to the cheek. Not flush, natural like glow to the cheek. I mean, look at that. It's gorgeous. And in person, it's beautiful too. My nose shine, but it doesn't look too crazy. And I'm just going to make sure it's not too wide. So then there's that. I'm really happy with how that's looking. I feel like my makeup is looking really pretty. Now I'm looking at my eyes and I definitely want to add a little bit more smoke. So we're gonna do it. We're just gonna smoke a little bit more, but just with the browns. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Charming in the Persona Cosmetics palette, just the Identity palette, the original Identity palette. And we are going to just add a little bit more. Okay, I'm happy with that. That looks so good. So next we're going to go on with mascara. So I have two mascaras here. I have the Cali Ray Beauty Mascara, and I also have the Jones Road Beauty Mascara. I think I'm going to do Jones Road today. My lashes have kind of been in a better place lately. I don't know if you remember me saying, but my lashes were kind of in a regrow phase of like, we might be a little sparse this week or this month. And then it's kind of been growing back to be a better sitch, which is nice. Happens every couple of years where all of a sudden I'm like, where my lashes go? I just love this mascara. It's just so, so pretty. Okay, so I'm really happy with how that's looking. I was considering doing a little bit on my bottom lashes, and I think I am, but just a touch with the Cali Ray Beauty Come Hell or High Water Mascara. You gotta clean this brush off, you guys. She is wild, but I love this mascara. She's such a good like waterproof mascara. And we're just gonna do the smallest touch on the outer edge of the lashes. That's literally it. That's all she's serving today, like the smallest amount. So then next, we're going to move on and we're going to do lips. So lips, I can kind of go a bunch of different ways. I have been loving just doing a balm, like a really glossy balm. But I think what I'm going to do is a very nude-y lip. So I'm going to take a little bit of Victoria Beckham in the shade 05, which is a really pretty brown color. Kind of lip color. Then I'm going to go on with the shade Vegas or the shade Slip from Merit Beauty or the shade Vegas from Kosas. You know what, why don't we try Slip first because I've used Vegas on. Oh, so good. It's so good, you guys. I mean, are you kidding me? Glowing goddess. Glowing. Okay, so that is that done. I was considering doing a little bit of the LYS Beauty lip oil, but I'm actually loving that it's not super, super glossy right now. But this is a great like lip oil, super, super good. And yeah, that is it for this makeup look. I would love to know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is glowing goddessy? Is it giving? Is it not? Let me know down below. Let me know also what products you like to use for like a really bronzy, glowy makeup look. And yeah, that's it for this glowy, bronzy makeup look tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.